Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Poland's Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski's two-day visit to Spain places Poland at the center of a wider European conversation on strategic autonomy, Ukraine, and the future of transatlantic relations, as policymakers debate how far Europe should go in building independent defense capabilities. Now, that discussion is taking place in parallel with Poland's major acceleration in defense procurement under the EU's defense loan program, an ongoing process of EU funding as well for Hungary. And joining us now to discuss all these European angles is Piotr Kaczyński, EU Institutional Issues Lecturer at Warsaw University. Good to have you back in the studio. Welcome.
Good morning.
So let's jump to Spain. Mr. Sikorski is there meeting with his counterparts. There's an ongoing discussion about strategic autonomy. That's what they'll debate. And the title goes along, is it a myth or a reality? So 5 years now into this war with Ukraine. What do you think about that?
Well, if we look at Spain, Spain is a very particular country, a location, and the dynamics over there, because of what the Spanish Prime Minister's positions have been on this, on those topics, on those issues, especially the uniqueness of Spain versus Trump discussion on security matters. That's point number one. Point number two, it's so important for people like Sikorski to continue to motivate people in Southern Europe to galvanize that support for what's going on in the East. Because, you know, there's a distance from Barcelona or Madrid to Kyiv. It's not the same sensitivity to feel the urgency as we hear it and we feel it here in Warsaw, or they feel it so much in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Spain has been a supporter of Ukraine. It has also contributed also in terms of humanitarian support. But where does it lie? I mean, it's still a major NATO player. It's a big country in Europe as well. Can it be aligned the same way as if we look at Poland or the Baltic states or Romania?
Yes and no, and this is exactly where there's a little problem with Spain. So yes, on the big picture, yes, on the communication front, strategic autonomy, everybody loves it in Spain. Here in Poland, not everybody loves it, but at least there's a realization that maybe the American ally is not as confirmed as it used to be. But then if you look at the fact-checking, Spain is the one country that is not spending on its military. Spain is the one country that doesn't want to spend on its military more than it has been spending recently. So yes, they have a substantive military budget because it's a big economy, but it's not meeting those 3% targets, and not even talking about or higher targets. So Spain is in this particular situation that yes, it is committed, it wants, but at the same time, when it comes to reality check, it's not investing as much into the future of the European defense and their own defense. And then maybe there will be questions about opening of those chapters with negotiating accession of Ukraine and others. And this is a very dramatic situation for some of the countries out there, and also Polish president. And we'll see what happens over there when Ukraine gets closer to Europe.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, as we said, there is that support for Ukraine in terms of sovereignty, that humanitarian support. And also, I think, I won't go into it now, but Portugal, actually, one of those southern countries that has actually been very vocal about hybrid attacks. I think their first drone ship that they built recently is so interesting. But look, talking about defense, now let's jump to Poland, to the eastern flank. These EU defense loans. I mean, this has been a big achievement here in this country, but for all of Europe. 29 defense contracts signed by Poland worth 18.4 billion in a single day on Saturday. I mean, what does that tell us? I mean, that's a massive, massive number.
There's even talk about like 40 projects or contracts signed. So yes, this is a massive injection of capital into the Polish defense capabilities, and those capabilities will grow. And we see already that in the second layer, there will be even foreign customers coming to purchase those equipments, including Canada. So you have those other European NATO because Canada's not in Europe, NATO allies who are also shopping around for the best equipment out there. And I think what needs to happen in Poland, we need to shift the gear from having Polish equipment to having the best equipment. And that's what should be the purpose for also this new project of the loans. This is a really interesting shift over there, because in this country there's a huge difference of opinion about this program, and the opposition hates the fact that it's financed from loans. And the government minister actually thanked the previous prime minister this weekend, saying that thanks to Mateusz Morawiecki's actions back when he was in office, EU can take loans to finance projects like this one. Today and in the future.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, as you said, this is also a big push for the domestic industry. A lot of these contracts, a lot of these things will develop that Polish industry.
We talk about
right?
40 billion euros injection into one segment of the economy. It's massive.
I also want to go now from big to a little bit smaller. Let's go to Malta. A recent election there, snap election. Fourth consecutive victory for the left there. So tell us, I mean, it's a small nation, but still the impact there. What do you see other threads come out of the Maltese election?
Yes, we had the Maltese elections, and this is actually interesting because this is the smallest of the EU member states, but all member states are equal in a way, right? So they all have a seat in the European Council. For example, this is a major victory for the left. We see that the left in Europe has been suffering over last years, and they are holding on to whatever seats they have in the European Council. This year is not a bad year for them. They have defended their position in Denmark, and they are defending their position in Malta. So, of course, we started with Spain, and Spain is the crown jewel for the European Social Democrats to defend that position, which should probably come sometime next year, elections as well. But for this year, well done. And fourth time running, this is not bad result for the Prime Minister. One thing about the Maltese politics, though, is that this is a two-party system. There are two major parties, no other parties out there. And for Brussels, of course, this is a major, maybe not a major, it's just a little hiccup for the President Metsola of the European Parliament, who's from the EPP.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you on that front because, as you said, from the opposition party, nationalist party, that's what we're calling here, with Metsola there, head of the European Parliament, president of the European Parliament, was there campaigning with, I think, Mr. Borg, who lost. But we also had another EU commissioner who was endorsing quite publicly another prime minister who's now won. So I'm just curious, in all this electioneering and this topic, what do we make of that?
Well, a little Europeanization of politics in Malta, because the government in Malta, which is a social democratic government, was afraid of the Metsola effect. So the EPP employed Metsola to campaign in order to have a better chance at winning. So naturally, their response was that you try to attract your commissioner. Now, it will be interesting to see, of course, what is the impact on that from President von der Leyen, because in the past, she was very vocal against some commissioners who would be involved in national politicking.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll analyze that in the next few weeks. Another thing, let's jump over 16.4 billion in EU funds. These are cohesion funds that have now been unlocked for Hungary just a few days ago. There was Péter Magyar, the new prime minister, in Brussels. So is this now a done deal? Is all the cash now flowing? Because I remember some milestones that had to be achieved.
Yeah, they're not flowing. It's a political agreement, and there's clearly a line that needs to be met with those milestones. But if Budapest knows exactly what they need to do, and they have all majorities in Budapest right now, to deliver on those milestones, then they know exactly what will happen and where it happens. So now Prime Minister Magyar knows this is what we need to do, we'll do it, 1, 2, 3, and then political agreement is that this money will flow. They know exactly how much money they will receive, they probably know when they will receive that money, but it's not today. Tuesday, on Monday, they actually have this money on their account.
But at the terms, looking at the timeline of this, how do we see this? Because we've heard different deadlines, that they wouldn't get certain amounts because the deadline was coming up. So what are we looking at? Paint us a picture briefly in terms of what we're looking at for the next.
Look, there is a 16 billion euros for Hungary that is pending, but the sooner the money comes, the better, and because some of that money is linked to the recovery fund that is pretty much finishing up this year. So Hungarians need to have that money first. And then there are some other funds that are linked to the regular budget, like cohesion fund, like research and development funds and others. And those funds are a bit more, let's say, relaxed, but not too relaxed, because the Hungarian economy needs that injection as well. Hungarians also, and this is outside of that 16 billion, we're talking about this security loan program to step into that, and they are definitely interested in that. But on this, we need to remember that Poland is first and the biggest, and the Polish government was the first to sign the agreement with the Commission on the defense support. So the Hungarians and others will only follow in the coming weeks.
And interesting, you call it a political agreement when we're talking about Magyar between the Commission and Hungary. So very much at the core, I mean, what was it that ultimately swayed the Commission? I mean, we talked a lot about rule of law, this conditionality. So what do you think was it that clinched it, that the Commission said, okay, we're on the right track now? So
I'm pretty sure, because I haven't seen, I don't have two eyes in the Hungarian government, but I'm pretty sure that the Hungarian government has delivered clear objectives of what they intend to do. Similarly to what the Polish government did in 2023. The Polish government did not deliver on everything, but it delivered the goodwill to deliver on what they can. And this is exactly what is going on with Magyar. Magyar needs to deliver on what he promised to von der Leyen, and there's clearly a goodwill on both parties to follow through. So this is a good working relationship now between the European Commission, the government in Budapest, to work together so that that money is spent correctly in the country, and it's not being subject to corruption.
All right, so we have 27 EU member states, but I think we did really well covering a lot of these issues, European threats. Thanks so much, Piotr Kaczyński. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more. Goodbye.